Browns offseason program is underway, and of course, the NFL draft is Thursday. So today we heard from Joe Flacco, Denzel Ward, and Kevin Stefanski all in the building here for the start of the offseason program. And let's just start with Joe Flacco, Mary Kay. Very happy to be back in Cleveland. Very happy to have an opportunity to compete for this job, and that, of course, is the key word, is compete. There will be a competition between him, Kenny Pickett, potentially a rookie. No guarantees for Joe Flacco.
No, not at all. He was not told that he's coming in here as the starter. He knows that he's got to try to beat out Kenny Pickett and whoever is coming in here after this draft this weekend. The big mystery, who is that rookie quarterback going to be? But I think that's interesting because, of course, Joe was signed kind of late. He had no idea that he was even coming here. And so I think that gives a little bit of insight into the Browns' thinking. Kenny Pickett was one of the first moves that they made this offseason, and I still think, if I had to guess, I believe that he will have the inside track.
Yeah, a lot of people made the assumption that when they brought back Joe Flacco, he was just going to be given the job. But Ashley, nothing has really pointed to that other than the fact that he's a fan favorite, and I just don't think the Browns are going to factor that into their decision.
Yeah, I mean, it's not surprising. You even think about 2023. Joe is 2 years older. He struggled a bit more in Indianapolis last year than obviously he did here. And obviously the last memories of him from fans here are turning the football over. And we know how important that's going to be for the Browns this year to take care of the football. So not really surprising, I think, that it's gone this way to here. There's essentially going to be an open competition with whoever is in this room at the conclusion of draft weekend in a few days.
Well, one of the guys who came up a lot was someone who is not in this building yet, could be in this building on Friday with the Browns holding that number 2 pick, Travis Hunter. And of course, hearing from Denzel Ward today gave us a little bit of a unique perspective on what Travis Hunter is trying to do, what it's like trying to play cornerback and then potentially wide receiver. It was actually good timing to talk to Denzel today, Mary Kay.
It really was, because he, of course, shared that Travis Hunter has reached out to him to work out with him. And that's pretty cool. I think that sort of gives a little window into what might happen tomorrow night. We're not sure yet, of course, but perhaps Travis will end up as a Cleveland Brown, and he will be playing opposite Denzel Ward and maybe opposite Jerry Jeudy as well. So the fact that he reached out to Denzel to work out with him is pretty cool, and Denzel, of course, is going to take him up on that.
I did have this weird thought today that Joe Flacco or Kenny Pickett or whoever could be throwing to Travis Hunter in training camp and then trying to avoid throwing to Travis Hunter on the very next rep. Denzel Ward could be going against him one rep and then trying to get him lined up right on the next rep. But again, Denzel, he's really embraced that leadership role, so it wouldn't be surprising if Travis Hunter, even if Travis Hunter isn't here, if Denzel works out with him, because he does see himself as an elder statesman just of the game in general.
Yeah, and he would welcome the chance to be paired up with Travis Hunter on the defensive side of the ball. He did joke he would not just let him make catches going against him in training camp if Travis Hunter does wind up a Cleveland Brown. But yeah, I mean, Denzel Ward talked again today about making it a point to be here for as much as the voluntary portion of the offseason as he can be. And we know he's invited guys to work out down with him in Florida. Open invitation to guys like Martin Emerson Jr., Greg Newsome, whoever wants to come. MJ took him up on that last year. So really, it's been interesting these last couple of years to see Denzel sort of transition into one of those elder statesmen of this football team.
Yeah, I think it's been interesting to watch Denzel's development, Mary Kay. And of course, this becomes a topic every year, this time of year, who's showing up, who's kind of invested right now, who maybe isn't here. And Denzel, 2 years in a row, like Ashley mentioned, has made it a point to be at this program. He's embraced that leadership role. And of course, you know, look, he's never really wavered. He's a believer in this organization, a hometown guy who's embraced. And it's just always fascinating to see how he's embraced that idea of, I need to be here and I need to set the tone.
Yeah, he set a great tone last year. And I think if we all look back to the offseason program last year, the big name that wasn't there was Myles Garrett. And if you guys remember, and I'm sure you do, when we talked to Jimmy Haslam at the NFL annual meetings just a couple of weeks ago, he said, we have challenged Myles Garrett to become more of a leader of this football team, or a real leader of this football team. And I think part of that includes showing up for things like this on a consistent basis. So it will be very interesting to see if that happens, especially now that he's their $40 million man.
Yeah, and really across the board, too, just this idea of, you know, sometimes maybe you'd like to see guys on this team act like they haven't accomplished anything and like this team does have a ways to go, whether they believe that or not. And in past years, maybe we haven't seen that. It's going to be interesting, Ashley, to see if Miles does arrive once we get out of this phase one where it's mostly just lifting and things like that. When they get into on-field work, will Miles be here?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. But to your point, Dan, I would think after going 3-14, and Kevin Stefanski got asked about this today, that maybe some guys will be more motivated knowing they're coming off of such disappointment, such a losing season. And truthfully, you think about the offense, you got a new offensive coordinator now in Tommy Rees. You're going to have a different quarterback. So all of those things, so much is going to be up in the air. And you're going to have probably, as things stand right now, a pretty high profile rookie from that number 2 pick as well.
Okay, we will have coverage of everything that happened here today, the press conferences today, and of course, all weekend, we're going to be right here on this Browns YouTube channel at cleveland.com/Browns on all of our socials covering the NFL draft. So just make sure you check us out all there.